Hello and welcome to the inaugural episode of the Jank Tank. I am Tap here for Brew Tap Cast, and Jank Tank is a series where we will go over some janky brews that we will attempt to play in the constructed queues on Magic Arena and see how they do. Generally, they probably won't do so well. Maybe they'll get 1 or 2 wins. My guess is at max. They're out of the realm of generally being a great deck. But they're fun to play. We get to brew around cards we like to see played and try to have some fun and jank them out, as they say. So the first episode is Calamitous Krenko. So this is based around Krenko, Street Kingpin. So he likes to make a bunch of little goblins when he attacks, and eventually you get more and more and more. So that, paired with Cavalcade of Calamity, is a really nice way to do a whole bunch of little points of damage relatively quickly. They do not have haste when they come off of Krenko. They won't be attacking, and he only triggers it once, the Cavalcade once. But that's probably okay. I mean, you're going to be getting... We have a whole bunch of 1-drops in here that are all one power or power-based creatures. We also have a new addition from M20, Scorch Spitter, which basically has a built-in Cavalcade of Calamity for itself when it attacks. So that's like a sort of a double up on that. So this attacks for 3 damage alone, if it was to actually connect. So that's one of the new additions from the new core set. Thunderkin Awakener. It doesn't have a lot of targets. It has the 4 Scorch Spitters, and it has 2 Chandra's Spitfire. That's the other inclusion from M20, which is actually pretty nice. It itself will trigger Cavalcade of Calamity when it attacks, and then that will be non-combat damage, and it will get +3/+0 until end of turn. So it attacks as a 4/3 if you have a Cavalcade of Calamity out when it attacks, and that's pretty good. A flying 3-mana 4/3 with a minor setup cost. It's only a 2-mana enchantment. Is actually pretty nice. Otherwise, the shell is built around sort of kind of like a basic mono red aggro. We also have one other, my bad. Scampering Scorcher. It's a 4-mana elemental 1/1 that creates 2 1/1s when it ETBs. They gain haste. So the idea is that the Thunderkin Awakener, I mean, you kind of get these useless little 1/1 elemental tokens at that time. Yeah, they have haste, but they can't attack because it's not tapped in attacking. But bring them back with the Thunderkin Awakener. Will give you 2 extra ones. You sack it, and you can loop them back and forth. I only have 1. It is a 4-drop. Didn't really want to go that high into that mana cost. But otherwise, as I said, it's a basic mono red aggro shell. Lightning Strikes, Shocks, Fanatical Firebrands. The other 1-drops are Footlight Fiend and Grim Initiate for some extra, utility from your 1-drops. Clamorous Shaman, maybe try to get Krenko through an extra time if he throws himself into the red zone and dies, to get Krenko pumped up or to get some extra tokens, then let it be. So, light up the stage, get some extra card draw. Generally will be pretty easy to trigger some sort of damage, and card draw is kind of what a lot of aggressive red decks need, so that's why it's in there. Tybalt Rakichistigator is a one of the incidental life locking from his static ability may come up, may not, but it makes a little 1/1. It makes a Footlight Fiend, essentially, which isn't a bad thing to have around for this as well. And it gives people to, a target for people to hit. 2 Experimental Frenzies and 2 Chandras on the top for rounding it out. Sideboard plans: Direfleet, Daredevil, Lava Coil, Goblin Chain Warrior, Legion War Boss, another Tybalt, 2 Rekindling Phoenix, 2 Angrath, 1 of the new Chandra, Mythic Chandras, and a Banefire. So that's sort of the transition into Big Red, which I'm not entirely sure how to run. I feel like because this is a jank deck and it's meant to just be janky, I don't really plan on using the sideboard. It was just sort of something I threw together. I mean, the War Boss is a little bit more of a card that is good in certain matchups that is actually useful for this. The Chain Whirler could be useful against mono red. It doesn't really do all that much otherwise. Angrath can be useful to try to get Krenko in, able to hit a couple more times with Menace. And then Banefire and Chandra are just sort of like a finisher if we're going a little bit bigger. So that's the deck. Let's try it out. I have not actually played this. We will save and exit, make sure I didn't make any last minute changes. And let's jump into a constructed event. And yeah, so we'll see how it goes. No idea, but off we go to the races. Here's game one for Calamitous Krenko Jank Tank. Wish us luck. So I have no idea of the meta that is now. This is day 2 of M20 being live on Arena. I have no idea what the meta is going to be. I've heard rumors of Temur Elementals being a very strong deck. There's something about Golgari Scape Shift that looks good as well. So we'll see. All right, so this looks like a pretty nice hand for us. It doesn't have Cavalcade or Krenko, but it's got some initial firepower to get down on the ground and start pushing in and then eliminate some threats or blocking threats. So we will keep this, not happily, but okay. Lead with the Scorch Spitter to try to get 2 damage in on our first turn. So yeah, I don't know what Kuro Penguin will be doing here, but we shall see. So I think I will attempt to land a Fanatical Firebrand. And we'll go to attacks and try to attack in for 3 damage. At least get our 1 off. Hit for 2, maybe more. And then we'll go ahead and play a Grim Initiate. And see if that draws any reward. It does not, so we pass the turn along to our opponent. Kuro Penguin. Blue. Pass the turn. Feels like they might be sandbagging a Merfolk Trickster, which is probably fine. I think I'm going to play Clamor Shaman post-combat. I don't want to actually attack with it at this point. So let's see if they Merfolk Trickster something down. Wouldn't be the worst, so they didn't. That's interesting. So I'm not really sure. Maybe they're holding up some sort of counter magic. I don't know what they're doing here. We're going to give it haste. Well, I guess at this point, we'll give it a 1/1 counter because we might actually need that power at some point. Alright, so maybe they're... I don't know what they're doing. So that's the reason maybe we want to have some extra power or something like that. At this point, we don't have any Cavalcade of Calamity, so we're not really losing anything out as far as, you know, not having that be a 1-drop or a 1-power creature. So we will see what we will get. So we draw a mountain. I think we just go to attacks. Maybe they're going to be sending another Brine Cutthroat, but who knows. We will go ahead and that one hits. Foist, the Scorch Spitter. We will obviously target the only creature they have. That's fine. That one still cannot block. That trigger resolves, so they could take out the Clamor Shaman or something else. So what? Whoa, what are they returning? Oh, they return the Clamor Shaman. Okay, so that still can't block, so they have a 3/2. So now we're looking like a ouchies, an ouchies there. So they're gonna block something. They're gonna take 2. That's all, not the best, but that's all right. We'll replay the Clamor Shaman as a 2-power creature, and we'll run out the Footlight Fiend as well. And then hopefully we can draw a Cavalcade, because that would be very nice. If they tap out to do something here, it would be nice that we can just Clamor Shaman. And, okay, so that doesn't help because we don't have any elementals in our graveyard. So I think we just run out this guy with haste and try to attack in. It won't be, it'll be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that puts them on a pretty tight clock. They may have more, you know, unsummon or stuff like that. I don't know. So that was a... Oh, I thought that was... Oh, that's essentially Convolute. So that makes us not really want to attack right now. They have the ability to block something. It'll just kill the Clamor Shaman. So we're just going to pass and let them have their turn. We may have run out of steam a little bit too early. What really we'd love to see... They are getting mana screwed a little bit. That's not really what I want to see, but we'll play it out. I mean, I guess I could try to counter it, but I think that we'll probably play this guy out. I'm not really looking at a Wrath from a blue deck. Really what I'm trying to do is get all my 1/1 guys out there so I can hopefully draw a Cavalcade. Yeah, so they're getting a whole bunch of big boys. They're just looking to use their counters, really. And then we're just going to pass and hope that we can do something here. If they want to attack, they can attack. I'm not sure if they will, though. Maybe just with one of their cutthroats. I mean, I'm not going to sack. I'll just take damage at this point, because really I'm just trying to get in. Just trying to wait for that Cavalcade to come in. So they don't attack. They still only have 3 lands. They're passing the turn. We draw a mountain. And I think we just pass it right back to them, because we're not really... Neither of us are really drawing all that much. They're maybe going to flash in. They're going to unsummon. Okay, so they're just getting huge right now. They're getting huge. So how many unsummons is that? They've played 2 and 2 Lookouts Dispersal. So they probably are playing Convolute as well here. I think we're just going to block with the Footlight Fiend. And then shoot at the Storm Tamer. I'm not really sure what their plan was with that. That was interesting. Maybe they're just trying to whittle down the creatures, which I guess makes sense. Or they're... So I guess we can try to get in for some damage here. Or they may just counter this. They probably have a bunch of counters. Yeah, wow, they have a lot of those cards. They really have a lot of those cards. Okay, so they got the Clamor Shaman off the board. That's fine. We're going to move to combat. We're going to pass through a combat. And that's right, I drew another land. So we'll end the turn. Not happy with how this is going. They're holding us off with these 2 dang Brine Elementals. I think we just block here, get a 1/1 for our damage. Oops, sorry for the mic hit. All right, so this is not great. At least we're sort of just trading a first striker for another 1/1. So we get a little 1/1 guy. We take our turn, and we have a creature that we would really like them not to counterspell. Hopefully they don't have something that... Well, they have mana up for Wizard's Retort or something like that. So this is kind of a make or break at this point. It's better than the Clamor Shaman. Yeah, okay, so they has Wizard's Retort. Alright, so we're just kind of dying here to all their counterplay. We're just going to pass back. So, we do kind of get owned by counter magic in this regard, but they're just going to chip in with 1, I imagine. Oh, I guess they'll do both. I think we're just going to take 1 hit. So we will pass to blockers. We'll block the 9. If they have some instant speed stuff, that's okay. Did I miss my damage trigger? No, I did not. So we'll ping them after blocks. And we'll take 8. My guess is they have another Brineborn Cutthroat in hand that they can play on our... Of course, now we draw it. So we're not long for this world. We'll play this out. If they don't... If they counter it, we're just going to scoop because we're done. So we will concede because that ain't going to happen. That did not work out. Get back in... There we go. Okay, we are back in business. All right, so let's hope that we can actually draw... part of our puzzle pieces, our combo pieces, before, turn 8 or 9, and then we can actually try to move this along. Don't know if that's going to happen. All right, so this hand looks like it's playable. It's keepable. We are in the draw, too. So we have some early removal. We have our combo pieces in hand. We have some land. Hopefully we can draw into a Krenko, get in with the Krenko. Yeah, and see how it goes. So let's go ahead and lead with the Footlight Fiend. Actually, let's lead with the Grim Initiate, because it does have first strike, so if they have any sort of little one power guys, or 1 toughness guys, they're probably just going to shock it, but who knows. Okay, so we can at least tack into the Viashino Pyromancer. So that feels better, I guess. Alright, so we drew another Cavalcade, so I think we're going to put this out... And I would love to use my mana efficiently here. So we'll go ahead and play Cavalcade. We will go ahead and attack. That's going to ping them for 1. They'll choose to block. I doubt they do. That's weird. Maybe they didn't know that it had first strike, or they don't care about that creature. That was odd. I don't understand that. So I'm not sure what they're playing here. This is a very odd deck choice, in my opinion. Alright, so that's just a 2-2. We could Lightning Strike it and play a Footlight Fiend. That seems like a little bit of overkill, so I think we will just go ahead and play out the second Cavalcade and a Footlight Fiend. And then probably just pass. Because I don't feel like losing the Grim Initiate for no reason at this point. If they choose to... Hopefully they just don't have a Chain Whirler. That's the only thing I'm kind of worried about, is then we'll wipe our board and they have things left over. So, if they go in for the attack, I'm going ahead and not block that creature. They didn't play anything, so I'm not sure what that means, but we will go ahead and play this. If there's any incidental life gain in red, which I doubt, so I guess we'll keep up Lightning Strike. So let's go to attacks. We'll attack in, we'll trigger 4 times, and then we attack for 2. Doesn't look like they have anything to do about that, so then we'll throw out the Rakish Instigator. We'll make a little Devil. And we'll pass the turn. So now we have a blocker that can take out their attacker if they choose to attack, or we just take 2 because I really don't mind. And again, cross our fingers they don't have a Chain Whirler. That's interesting. This is a very interesting deck. It's a pretty nice card, Mr. Montresor. So there goes Tybalt. So if I let both of this through, I'm going to take 2. Next turn I will swing for 6, 9, put them into almost dead range. So I think we're just going to take the 2, lose the Tybalt.
I was bored
and draw a Chandra, which I think we will not play immediately. It will most likely die and possibly kill them. So maybe we will actually go ahead and play that out. We'll take, we'll damage them for 9. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I have lethal. Because we have damage from that, damage from these, and then we have double Lightning Strike to the face. Alright, so we totally janked them out without one of the major, the whole major, the other, you know, there's two combo pieces of this deck, Krenko, Cavalcade, Calamity, drew 2 of one, none of the other. So we did do some janky things. That was a very odd deck choice that we ran up against, though. So I'm not really feeling as though that really matters. But, alright, well, we got 1 win. We're on the board, so... You know, we're winning 200 gold in 3 cards instead of 100 gold in 3 cards. So we are not netting gold yet, but we are netting cards. Well, you do that anyways. On to the next. Nemric, Game 3. Alrighty, we have 2 Scorch Spitters, a Clamor Shaman, and a Krenko. And a Cavalcade. So this looks good. We're on the draw. So if we can draw land in the first couple turns, I'll feel pretty darn good about this setting up for what we want to do. Whether or not that matters when we're playing against something that has a Hallowed Fountain in it, I have no idea. But you know what? We came to jank. We shall jank. We shall jank, and jank we shall. Yeah, so... Maybe it's an Esper deck that we're just gonna, you know, get poo-pooed on for. I think they're most likely not going to play creatures. I'd rather curve into a Scorch Spitter. Well, Scorch Spitter is actually more damaging. We have Krenko that we want to cast next turn. I think we don't reveal the other part of that, so I think we're just gonna go ahead and well, yeah. So let's attack. Ping, ping, and then Scorch Spitter, and then pass. I don't know if that's really the right play. I'm sure we could do some numbers and things that would... how many cards do they have in their deck? Oh, okay. It looks kind of higher than... That's a tall stack. Why does that look so tall? It looks taller than mine. I also don't like that they... Oh, jeez. Alright, so...
My excellent timing. Oh, I've done the
Okay, so that kills Teferi just by attacking it. I think they just... So now we'll probably just... We won't play the Clamor Shaman just yet. And I do want to play Krenko this turn, and then we can just sort of unload the next turn. So we will go ahead and kill off the small Teferi boy. And then play a Krenko. And then hope that we can get in for 1 or 2 hits with Krenko to generate a bunch of tokens, slam down Cavalcade, and win the game. Who knows? Who knows? Alright, so we're flooding on Krenko Street. Do I want to play anything? I could Clamor Shaman out and attack in. And then next turn, if we draw land, we can... So actually, I think it's better to not Clamor Shaman. It's better to hold up and get Scorched Spitter and Grim Initiate. So I don't see any black on their side yet, but I don't know why they wouldn't be playing it. Blue-white is not as common, I think, as Esper at this point. But then again, I have no idea. Okay, so we don't get to attack with Mr. Cranks, so that changes what we're going to do. So we'll just attack for 2 and replay Cranks. Just not a great strategy, but we really want to try to generate some of those tokens, and they still don't really know about, or maybe don't know about Cavalcade. Alright, so we only lost 2. That's not actually that bad. They tapped out for that. We still are stuck on 3 lands. So we can Scorch Spitter and Cavalcade, or get out Krenko, and then generate some Gobos. I think I want to... I think I kind of want to... Yeah, we'll just Krenko. I mean, it's kind of what we... We came to Krenko. We shall Krenko. Krenko, we shall. I don't know why I keep saying that. Came to jank them out. They are just not dumping anything in their graveyard. Alright, so we have an active Krenko, possibly. We have 3 mana. We will not Cavalcade. We'll just drop some 1-drops. Alright, so we got some Gobos. We have some Gobos. That was a slight misplay. I didn't play the Fanatical Firebrand. And I'm going to hope and pray that they don't have another board wipe, because we will get harmed. Okay, so they kind of the last one. That's probably the best of them to counter. So the life gain does stink. All right, so they're drawing all their cards. It must be just all gas. Ah, yikes! That's a painful hit. We still don't have a single, another land drop. All right, so I think we just gotta try to get some things in the board. So I think we're gonna Cavalcade and we're gonna Firebrand and then hit for 2. We need to start generating some damage here, and if we don't, we're just out. So maybe Krenko next turn. Chandra Spitfire probably does a little bit more damage faster. Alright, so they ditched an island, so they're getting a 6. Mu Yang Ling, not going to matter too much. We can kill it with a Clamor Shaman. Alright, so that was a poor choice of things to do last turn, although we didn't know it. So if we Clamor Shaman, we can do 1, 2, 3. So it's not dead, but it gets it down to 1, so they can't make a Dargon. Well, it's a bird, but it's kind of a Dargon. Or they just counter this and we kind of get owned. But we'll see. Dargon, Dargon, Dargon. Thinking about it. Okay, so I don't know if we're going to win this now that they're online with that. At the very least, we can attack and at least get them out of Dargon range before they... unless they kill it off. Alright, so they transform their Excanta, so now we're definitely are losing the advantage. So they just get a Dargon. A Dargon bird. Which is rather obnoxious. Now we're just going to draw the lands when we didn't need, or don't need them. Go ahead and cast that, because I don't see Krenko getting in anytime soon. I will happily send the Spitfire out. Okay. So now they're gaining life back, and they're getting annoying little turd blockers out. I wouldn't be surprised if they have some of the M20 things that pump flyers. blocks there. Don't see a reason to do that. Hopefully they don't hold up counter magic. Well, that's unfortunate, but I think we're gonna... So that would have been a reason to play the Krenko last turn, is that we could actually get in for an attack now. So you can have that one. We don't need no Tefries. Tefaries over around here. Oh, they shocked in! Oh, they want a Skanta, that's why. Alright, so at least we can do some things. We can kill... Is it worth it? We can kill off Karn right now. Or we can... I think that might be a good idea here, actually. And if not, I don't know. This is a janky deck. We have no idea what's going to happen. Because it gets pumped. Well, I guess it's not going to kill because he's at 6. Oh, they may have another deploy or whatever too, so... Oh, you know what? It doesn't kill. Because it's not going to trigger. I think we just go to the face then. Because I made a mistake. I thought we would have had to have pinged a player. Because it's... Yeah, non-combat damage to opponent. So at least we'll get in for some damage. Unless they unsummon or something like that. Alright, so go ahead and hit in. Hopefully the active Planeswalker didn't do all that much. Play a Krenko? Do they have the Absorb? No, they're going to search for something that doesn't matter because it won't matter. They find another dispo... ooh, I like this! This is new. I haven't seen this. That's nice. Done. Well, I can't... There we go. I love this, too, this new creature trigger thing. Yep, so they're going to get the small Teferi. Going to attack in. So they're probably going to do small Teferi and then bring back either Krenko or flop back Krenko. Or they're just going to tap with Depose or Dispose? Depose, yeah, Dispose. So move back our Flyer or the Krenko? Flyer or the Krenko? Which one do you want to do? Flyer goes back. And you're going to tap down Krenko pre-combat. But we have another creature, and we have elementals in our graveyard. So if they don't have a counter spell, this might actually work pretty well. Let's see what they have. They have a counter spell, so now they can just tap down still. So we will go to combat. They will tap down Krenko, most likely. Yeah, okay. So we're really having trouble pushing damage through. We're really, really trying hard, but we're not able to jank him out. This deck is not meta-friendly. But that's alright. We are almost living the dream, but not really. I don't have as many non-creature spells. At least not that I'm so worried about.
Let's try this.
Okay. I guess we have some burn spells, but I'm not really worried about the burn spells right now. Alright, well that's a bummer.
I'd like to stay out of this, but I'll fight if I must.
It's a bummer, although hopefully we'll actually get in with some Krenko damage. Never mind. Yeah, so
If you show remorse,
I don't think this is gonna work out for us. So the jank is not strong in this match. We had too much tempo lost in the beginning of the game, I think, for them to and then they just caught up, so. Alright, so they didn't attack, so they're going to kill the Krenko. And all we have is a mountain in hand. And that gets +3, so it's only going to attack for 2. But then we get in with... We don't have much of a choice here that... We can't kill any Planeswalkers. I think we're just dead in the water. Oops. Yeah, I don't think we have much of a choice of winning. They're just like, we can't block with a Spitfire, but
you know what? I'm not done yet.
I think we're just toast. So we're just gonna see what we draw. They're gonna just draw all the cards in the world. All the cards, all the cards. They're gonna get back their Absorb. I think it's time to go to the concession stand. Yeah, I forgot about that. Why is their thing not flying? Oh, now it is. Okay. So we're not going to block, but they have a blocker. still. So we could kill off Mu Yang Ling just by attacking in. And then we can also trade with their bird. Ugh. Or they're going to bounce something.
Right on schedule.
Because why would they bother? Okay, so now we're just
Don't worry.
not doing so well here. They're going to town. They're untapping lands. And now we actually have something that we want to have not get Dovin's vetoed. So I think we're just going to go to the concession stand. And that was not a great game. Not a great matchup. But also, they just did really well at holding us off early game and draining all of our oomph that we could get. Well, this is going to be a short jank tank, I'll tell you that. We're very, very sensitive to counter magic and tempo. I think our one of our better matchup is another aggro. I don't even know if we are aggro. Another aggro kind of deck. But definitely not a control matchup winner. Our opponent, Devour, is here to hopefully be devoured. Looks good to me. Looks good to me, indeed. We have some card draw. Got our combo pieces. Got some early action. So we'll see who we're up against, or what Devour is gonna bring to the table. Hopefully, it's going to be himself on a platter, so we can win. All right, get in for a single point of damage early. Fanatical Firebrand. Here we go. Bang! We're winning. We're literally winning. On all fronts. Burglar Rat. Alright, what do we want to discard? That's an interesting thing to have. I think I'd be okay discarding a land, but then again, you never know if you'll draw another one. So I think we'll go ahead and discard a land, because we can light up the stage. Well... Yeah, we can light up the stage, so let's discard a land. We drew another land anyway, so that's fine. I will drop that bad Larry. And then we will probably Footlight Fiend. No, go ahead and Calamity. And then we'll pass. Because we're going to keep that up. Because if we are going to get that, I'd love to get the Light Up the Stage trigger on that. Trigger from Calamity. So, not like I'll likely play that next turn, because we'll actually have things to do. But... discards 2 cards. Youch. Alright. Okay. I see this is a pretty brutal hand. So I think we'll ditch these 2. And then next turn we're definitely going to slam the Krenko. So they're tapped out. We'll go ahead and play that. And play Krenko. And pass. And hope that we can actually get in with the Krenko, get some tokens, and then go off to the races. Well, most likely they'll have a kill spell. That's fine. You can take my Footlight Fiend if you'd like. And they can't actually block well next turn. They can chump, but they can't kill unless they have something else. I don't have any elementals in my graveyard. No. But I can play this. It might just get discarded anyway, so I think we'll go ahead and attack with those 2. If they choose to block the Shaman, at least I can kill off and not have it die. Kill off one of their rats with the Firebrand. Or they're just going to chump both. That's totally fine. And then pass. And hope that we draw some gas. Maybe they'll play a creature... or they'll just destroy all creatures, which I guess is a pretty good thing to do. Looking. Oh, that's rough. Scampering. The one of Scampering Scorcher we cannot play. How many lands do we discard? 1. Alright, here come all the dudes that they were waiting on. Alright, here we go. No attacks, even though that's totally lame. But I guess that makes sense. They were just putting out their utility creatures, or their ETB creatures, I should say. Alright. Everything gave lifelink. There's a ping. If I... Interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Life touch, death, power, blah, blah, blah. So 1-1 lifelink, death touch, 2-2 lifelink, death touch. Because of Sauron.
I abhor my
Okay.
need for blood.
What you gonna do, Mr. Man? Play a tap land. Pass the turn. There's a land that I just didn't draw. Alright, we can kill off the Sorin, but in doing so... Oh, sorry, we cannot kill off the Sorin. We can maim the Sorin. And they can just burglar rat. It's like we just play and pass. And hope we draw gas. I made a rhyme. Look at that. Jank tank rhyming. Alright, so they're going to destroy that guy. Which is better than destroying a token for me personally.
Vampirism is a useful trait.
Alright, we're just going to draw lands all day, aren't we? Flood out like mad. They're just going to keep... What is this? Does it have an ultimate? -X, return the things. Alright, cool. Sack a dude. Pass, they're going to attack. This is not going well. Jank tank
The weak.
is a failure. The inaugural one is a failure. But what else is new? They are being very conservative. Quite conservative indeed. Alright, well, I guess I don't really know what to do here. I guess we can try to kill... I mean, the Sorin's just going to go in... It's essentially already gone. But I think we just... We're going to attack him. I mean, it limits what they can do. It is going to get 1 damage through anyways.
You're working up my appetite.
They're going to block. That's fine. They gain a life. And then we end... Oops, I'm sorry for that. We'll end. Pass. And that trigger, we will go ahead and shock the Dire Fleet Daredevil to try to limit damage that we're going to get. Maybe they thought that we were going to get got. It's very close to it. Alright, so maybe they're just drawing lands. I don't know why they didn't bring something back. What do they have that's worth bringing back? I guess the Daredevil, which will just shock. Because we have Krenko, and that's kind of it. So whatever it is, we can actually kill. And we're going to do that. What are they going to do? They kicking Cranky. Mr. Cranky Pants. Mr. Cranky Pants. Mr. Cranky Pants. This is a very odd deck. But it's working. Because we ran out of steam. Maybe we need some steam. No, steam kids wouldn't matter. Alright, they're looking at the graveyard. Trying to get something back with Sauron. What do you got? A Poisoner, Burglar Rats are kind of lost their thing. Yeah, Poisoner makes sense to me. What do we got in the hand? A Swamp. We have another Cavalcade. Pass the turn. Not looking good for the Jank tank. Alright, so this deck needs card draw. Maybe we need more light up the stages. That stage needs to be super bright. Super bright indeed. This looks like this may be crashing and burning at our 1-3 record. Yep, now they're starting to get everything back. All the cards. Attacking for 2. Gain some life. We're basically out of this game. Oh, there's... Yeah, I forgot about that part of it. I guess that would be a reason I hold it, but what are you going to do? Pass the turn. Take our beats. Lose the game. Most likely, but hey, you know what? We tried to jank. We did. We tried. We tried to jank. And, yeah. That jank failed. Boop. Take our damage. Pass to attackers. I don't know what we're really waiting for here. Block. Sack. Kill. I don't know why it matters, because we're just going to Sorin it back, but we're limiting damage. Got a Spitfire. Doesn't do much right now. I think we're just kind of just stalling. The inevitable is coming. Unless they just flood and we just draw straight gas, we're just kind of done here, I think. The Jank tank is definitely not fermenting. We likely have an infection in the Jank tank. Things aren't going well. Didn't properly aerate or anything like that. Just passing. That's all. This is just terrible. They're just slowly picking at us little by little with Soren and everything like that. So we had a good start. It was that first Kaya's Wrath that kind of threw us to the wolves. So, yep, we're going to take our Soren beats. That guy is the MVP of this game, that's for sure. MVP. Well. Honestly, it does not matter at this point. It's to limit damage and kill things. They're just going to come back. We're going to attack next turn. No blocks. How about that? How about dem apples? Huh? Yeah. Here comes the fire. Here comes the fire. It's a mountain. Woo-wee. And that's it. We're done. Because we die next turn, and we're done. Alright, cool. So that was a fun Jank tank, huh? It was definitely not a fun Jank tank. I don't know if this is good content, but I hope people like it. Alright, so we will go ahead and I can't even claim the lost prize. I have to go back out to home and back into the event to claim the prize. At least we got cards. Let's see what we got. We'll do the middle one. Macabre Mockery. Jaya. And Silhana Wayfinder. Alright, so things that we don't really... We already have 4 of these. Don't know about that. Don't know about that. Probably not going to play them. Claim our prize. We got our gold. So that didn't go out super well. But I don't know. Looks like the deck could be improved with some extra card draw. I forgot that the sideboard didn't actually matter. Flood and Screw happened sort of equal proportion. I think our lands are fine with only having 5 4-drops and everything else is below that. I guess maybe having some more haste creatures could help. The Cavalcades just aren't really that powerful in general. Maybe transitioning to an all-elemental with more Thunderkins and Spitfires might be a better thing. Or at least like the 1-drops would be more elemental associated, things like that. Wasn't all that powerful. We could also try to bring in something like a War Boss as well. It's just a little bit slow, but at least it does something when it first comes down. But we already kind of have a heavy-duty 3-drop section. Alright, well that's all for this Jank tank. I hope you enjoyed the content. It wasn't the best, but it was janky, and that's about all I can say. So that brings Jank Tank Episode 1 to an end. We hope that you enjoyed your experience in the cellar, and please have a pint in the tap room. But it won't be from the Jank Tank. I would not drink from the Jank Tank this week. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and keep brewing.